Yahawashi by Hashem. Rakach Kadash, all praise, honor, and glory go to the Most High Yahweh in the name of His Son, Yahawashi. And I'm coming to you with a hit from the book of Matthew and 12. Just get a little background. A lot of things are going on out here. And things are getting a little bit tighter. And, this is the perfect time where spirits can jump on folks. So when I say we, I pray above that number of those that call on Yahawashi, looking to be delivered, searching for mercy, and also looking to help wake up the hopeful elect. We got to make sure that we are all making sure that, we're not letting our own spirits conjure up things that we know could affect us. In Matthew 12:43, it says, when the unclean spirit is gone out of a man, he walketh through dry places, seeking rest, and findeth none. So everybody has their own little, challenges, passions, desires that they have before this truth, after the truth, whatever, and it's all just been, just designed to try to help, trip you up at times, cause you to stumble. But the one thing that we know and the understanding that we get from all that is that no matter what, it's always just this whole book, this whole understanding is basically just for the hopeful elect. So since it's for the hopeful elect, for those who's gonna make it, they're gonna make it. But during his movie, and we have to participate in this movie that the Most High has put together, we're gonna be challenged too. So, I know I have my own little, challenges that I have, and they're going to be natural because you got to think about it. The so-called black man, the so-called Latino man, the so-called American Indian, mostly Judah, but, all the nations, all the tribes of the nation of Israel, we all face these same challenges through the curses. We're not looked at as men. We're not looked at as, they won't only have one woman. We're not allowed to prosper financially the way we really want to unless we sell out or we do something unlawfully. So the whole system is set up to where we, our backs is always against the wall. So because of that, we always got to walk circumspect. It says, when the unclean spirit is gone out of a man, he walketh through dry places, seeking rest and finding none. Then he said, I will return into my house from whence I came out. And it says, and when he is gone, he find empty, sweat, and garnished. So, got some things that you cut out of your life, but you didn't put nothing back in it. You didn't replace it with anything. That's the great thing about this truth. You can always replace it with more truth, more understanding, study, and make sure you show yourself approved. 45 says, then goeth he and taketh with himself 7 other spirits more wicked than himself, and they enter in and dwell there. And the last day of that man is worse than the first. Even so shall it be also unto this wicked generation. So, it's comparing that man to this wicked generation that you're experiencing right now. And 7 spirits is a lot when you think about it, especially when you're fighting off demons. So just because the first 2, don't get you, I'm not a murderer, I'm not an adulterer, I'm not a sodomite, I don't get myself angry. Still things there that could try to, challenge you. It could be jealousy, envy. I know I have my own little things, I deal with, but, everyone's different. So you got to watch out for all 7 spirits. In the book of 1 Corinthians, Salakia, my phone is crap right now, so I got to do everything in a special way so I can get to what I need to get to. In 1 Corinthians 10:12 it says, wherefore let him that thinketh he standeth take heed lest he fall. So we got to always make sure that we're staying connected with the spirit, making sure, if you have the brethren around, staying close to them, not watching videos as much as you can. Continue not to trust these people of the world, are those that, are saying they're believers and they're really not, following the ways of Yahawashi Yahawashi. That could be in your own home. That could be, your close friends. It could be your brother, your sister, your mother, even your kids, even your wife. For some women, your husband. So you got to really stand firm in these last days and continue just to push forth this gospel the way that you're designed to do. Always end with this. Most of my videos, able-bodied men. You got to continue to go out there and do what you can, because we know, like I said, it's only for the elect. The only elect is going to keep doing this anyway. But you got to keep doing what you can to help wake up the hopeful elect, to secure your spot. That's going to take you purifying yourself in these wicked times. That's going to take you continue just to push out the videos until, the message is out not to do it. We can't do them anymore, And it's time to, go into the wilderness by ourselves, as it says in the scriptures, Or, every man retire to his own home, You men that don't really understand the prophecies in depth, you have questions about it, you think that, some things are hard to understand. Don't create your own doctrine. Stop scoffing and mocking. Stop being critical towards your brother bringing out the truth. And try to help the truth the way you can. Doesn't always have to be with money. It could be with time. You women, you always got to realize, and you should never forget this, that Eve was designed and programmed to sin first for a reason. And because of that, it set up a whole timetable of events where Israel, the men of the sons of God, the righteous ones, always were brought down by the women. So since you know that and you're trying to be an elect lady, the best thing you can do is close your mouth and follow. Follow so you can receive your reward of helping bring in the sons of God, the Israelites that are the 2/3 in the kingdom. And you children who call on them Yahawashi Yahawashi, do not be tricked by what's going on. That is his true name and his son's name. Keep praying to those names. Keep praying for mercy and deliverance. And with that, just want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawashi Yahawashi by Hashem. Rakaka Hadash, double honors to all the apostles, elders, teachers, preachers, priests, bishops that came before me and taught me this truth through the videos, starting with the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And Shalom, peace be to you, to his holy elect, which I pray I'm in the number of. Till next time, Yahweh willing.